let us all do we can to build a better future.
I am concerned. This is a story that enrages me because Donald Trump has just been kicked off the Colorado ballot. Colorado judges claim the former president was responsible for an insurrection, and so they removed him from the ballot. First of all, this is not good. This opens up the Pandora's box for potential elections in which candidates could be removed from the ballot. And I don't care where you stand on the political spectrum. This should concern you because this is not good for democracy. Plus, hey, I know there's a lot of liberals out there who are celebrating, popping open champagnes. I've seen you do this retard dance so many times. All of the time. Anyone who's anti-Trump supporter. And by the way, this rant is not pro-Trump. But this is going to be a factual statement right here. Every time you idiot vote blue, no matter who, libtards. Yeah, that's right. I'm using that word. Keep on celebrating. We got Trump this time. You'll always crap your pants and fall face first because you don't know how to handle your alcohol. You never see the bigger picture. Every time Trump goes to court, uh-oh, this is it. The walls are closing in. Trump just gets a ladder and just crawls onto the next floor. He walks away. It's water off a duck's back. That mugshot, everyone said, oh, this is it for Trump. No, that made him stronger. All these indictments, all these legal issues, that mugshot, everything. Even that stupid impeachment way back during his presidency. All it did is make him stronger. It galvanized him. And now by removing him off the ballot, you think that's going to hurt him? That's going to galvanize him even more. That's going to give him more power. I mean, seriously, sometimes vote blue no matter who. I really want to know what to do with you guys sometimes, okay? And I have a very diverse audience, and occasionally the latte-drinking liberal, the vote blue no matter who person will come on here. I've had more civil conversations with socialists, Greens, progressives, libertarians, and yes, even Trump supporters. But when it comes down to liberals, Jesus Christ, my goodness. To quote Michael Scott, how to turn tables suddenly turn. It's impossible to talk to you people because you've got Trump derangement syndrome in spades. This is going to make Trump stronger. And this is also bad for democracy, by the way. So let's talk about it because this is beyond stupid. So the Colorado Supreme Court ruled on Tuesday that former U.S. President Donald Trump can't be on the primary ballot in that state. The Republican front runner has vowed to appeal, as he should. It is his right. And the reason why I'm saying it's his right, because guess what? I've covered in the past year, Hardland Media, how independents and third-party candidates have been kicked off the ballot, such as the Greens, such as libertarians, such as other independent non-affiliate candidates. Not only here in Illinois, but I've done interviews with candidates, third-party candidates, all across this country. And they have told me the story of how they were kicked off the ballot because, I guess Democratic and Republican lawmakers didn't like that there. Well, guess what? Those third-party candidates were able to successfully to appeal and able to get themselves on the ballot. Trump has that same right, too. And no, it's not an endorsement of Trump. What the Colorado courts have just done is systematically give a gut check to democracy. And no, I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. But this is stupid. This is dangerous. This should not be allowed. And I say this because I believe in consistency. I say this because I do believe in democracy. I do believe in our republic. I do believe in free speech. And yes, I do believe that all of you watching, and I don't care where you stand on the political spectrum, what generation you're part of, color your skin, or who you worship, or how you vote, whatever. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. All of you have the right to vote for who you want. Hell, you have the right to vote. You have the right to not vote if that's what you want to do. But I'll be damned if we just turn a blind eye and say this is A-OK. The case was brought by, Democrat activists arguing that Trump was disqualified from running for the White House again because he had engaged in an insurrection against the U.S. government, citing a section of the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which was passed following the Civil War in 1865. Civil War. That's all these Democrats can talk about. If you elect Trump, it'd be Civil War. Democrats have used the term insurrection to describe the January 6, 2021 riot at the U.S. Capitol, although no one, including Trump, has been charged with that particular crime. So in other words, they're just talking out of their ass, these Democrat activists. Probably drinking a latte or having a mimosa saying, we did a good thing for freedom. I'm resisting because I believe that Trump is Hitler. I'll never forget when you ever see people on social media saying that Trump is worse than Hitler. Just remember that. Just remember this. When you see people saying that, they're saying that, okay, wait a minute. If you're saying Trump is worse than Hitler, does that mean that Hitler's redeemable? And in front of you, vote blue no matter who, jagoffs? He's worse than Hitler. Shut the hell up. 4 Colorado Supreme Court judges, all Democrats, agreed that Trump was not eligible to be on the primary ballots in the state, but stayed their ruling until January 4th, 2024, pending appeals. So, okay. Reacting to the ruling, the Trump campaign called the decision completely flawed and a product of a Soros-funded left-wing group scheme to interfere in an election on behalf of crooked Joe Biden. So let's talk about it because the whole world is talking about it. Here, Hardland Media, we voted for it. Here, this was Russell Brand's little post. Trump off the ballot in Colorado. Is this good for democracy or bad for democracy? I voted bad for democracy, and I retweeted it because it is bad for democracy. But hold on, wait a minute. BSDNC, get ready. Here comes Joy Reid, and you know she's licking her lips for this one. Rachel Maddow, she's like, oh yeah, I get to talk about Trump again, that good stuff, because she's on that needle. She's on that needle for Trump talk, man. She's got to have that kick. She's got to have it. That fix real quick, man. She's got to talk about Trump. That was her bread and butter. Shout out to Case Study QB. I don't know how you sit through this stuff, Case. You're wrongly being censored, but God almighty, how you sit through it. You're made out of stronger stuff than me, my friend.
We begin tonight with major breaking news. A bombshell ruling from the Colorado Supreme Court in just the last hour states that Donald Trump is disqualified from holding the office of president and from appearing on the Republican primary ballot in that state. In a more than 200-page ruling, the court found that Trump is ineligible for the White House under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. The court found that the district court was correct in its early ruling, calling the January 6th attack on the Capitol an insurrection, and that
even though he hasn't been charged for it, just want to get that out there. And yes, vote blue no matter who. If this triggers you, I don't care. Everything triggers you. Vote blue no matter who. No one takes you seriously anymore. All you got is bullying tactics and Trump derangement syndrome. Anyone that falls for it, shame on them, okay? Seriously.
Trump, quote, engaged in that insurrection through his personal actions. The court noted, we do not reach these conclusions lightly. We are mindful of the magnitude and weight of the questions now before us. We are likewise mindful of our solemn duty to apply the law without fear or favor and without being swayed by public reaction to the decisions that the law mandates we reach. This frankly stunning and unprecedented decision could have major implications in the 2024 race, in which Trump is currently the Republican frontrunner.
Yeah, that's right. Trump is the frontrunner in the Republican primary because Republican voters want Trump, okay? Now, I made it clear how I feel about the Democratic Party and Republican Party, but guess what? That's my opinion. But my analysis is very spot on. Republican voters want Donald Trump. All the other candidates are mediocre. All the other candidates are non-existent. So voters are going to vote for Trump. That's what the Republican voters are going to do. You think this is going to stop them? No. This is going to make them want to engage in Colorado, fight in Colorado, because Trump, unlike Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden and AOC, he kept his political movement together. Good luck, Democrats. You keep on shooting yourselves in the foot.
The decision will likely be appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court, which could decide the matter on a national level. And when a big news item like this drops, there's one person we want to talk to more than anybody.
Oh, brace yourself. We're not going to sit through it too long. But here she comes. You know her. You love her. The Meadow.
So, of course, Rachel Maddow joins me now on the phone. Rachel, we had a whole show planned, my friend, and that is completely upended. This is what we're talking about now. I am festooned with papers in front of me, but I just want to listen to you react to what Colorado's Supreme Court has done.
Yeah, Joy, first of all, thank you for having me on. I know it's very short notice and we're all just trying to absorb this. Listen, I think in the broad strokes, in terms of our democracy, there are very few magic wands. there are very few sort of magic spells that you cast that.
You're a goddamn reporter. You're talking about magic spells and casts. What the? No wonder MSNBC. You had to bully your way onto social media. People can't take you seriously. God almighty. This is the news. Magic spells and wands. No, that's not. Listen, he's not going away. You're going to have to face him, Democrats. Man, what a bunch of punks. Like, yes, I understand the power of prayer or hoping, right? I get it. But listen, if you think that Trump being pushed off the Colorado ballot is just going to make him be like, oh, it's over for me. No, he's going to come back tenfold. You just can't embarrass this man. Him going to court, it's like going to breakfast. This is not new to him.
Make a complex and difficult problem go away. It just doesn't happen very often in our political system, and I think that we shouldn't be under any illusions about the character and the partisan inclinations, among other things, of this current Supreme Court as it is constituted. That said, this is not a crazy thing for a democracy to do. This is
a crazy thing for a democracy to do. It happens to third-party candidates all the freaking time.
This is something that was a hallmark of post-war Germany after World War II. This is something that happened to Jair Bolsonaro in Brazil quite recently. This is something that our own Congress did in 1868 after our own Civil War, specifically to preclude anybody from holding office in this country who had engaged in insurrection against this country. And so it's...
But Trump hasn't been charged for it. Okay? And January 6th wasn't the end-all, be-all of the Republic. Okay? The Romans are more experts than that, okay? Caesar and his legions, okay? What happened on January 6th was just, I don't know, just one crazy moment on the radar. Looking back at it now, the way the media covered it, they turned it like, oh, it's a scary moment. Scary, spooky, scary. Jesus Christ. In Congress, they played like a documentary video of January 6th, and AOC and all of them were there. And they tweet out like, oh, it was like reliving it all over again. And like, you know how all documentary movies or series have like that like serious tone, like dong, dong. That was in that movie. That was in that documentary video too. Like, oh, the barbarians are at the gate. Get over yourselves. Vote blue no matter who. I never seen such a triggered group of people ever.
It's not unheard of, but it would be an incredible wild card.
It would indeed. And to your very point, there are 14 members who were expelled during the Civil War for supporting the Confederacy. Mm-hmm. The 14th Amendment, Section 3, was written for the Confederacy. It was written because of that. So are you calling Trump supporters Confederates? Be careful with your words here, because during the last election in 2016, in the general election, some northern states turned red and voted for Trump. What are you indicating about voters? Because we got to be careful here, BSDNC, because you're making an accusation now. You're calling Trump. Are you trying to compare or say that Trump voters? Because I've covered on a show how there's a lot of diversity with the Trump supporters. I've seen some black Trump supporters, women Trump supporters. I know Latino Trump supporters. Are you saying all of them are Confederates? Congratulations. If you are a black Trump supporter, you are now a Confederate. That's right. You can live in a northern state. I guess, according to BSDNC, you're a Confederate now. You did it. Yeah, you broke that glass ceiling. Insurrection. And I think what was the most stunning to me, Rich, I haven't gone through this, a very, very thick ruling. It's a big stack of paper. But the part that I've gotten through, what I found the most stunning is that what this court has said is that the previous court, the lower court, was not wrong in saying that Donald Trump engaged in insurrection. Their only error was saying that Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which again was to prevent insurrectionists from serving, didn't apply to presidents. They said, oh no, we agree with the lower court. He did engage in insurrection, but Section 3 does, in fact, apply to presidents. I guess it was surprising that the lower court said that it didn't.
Yeah, I mean, and it's interesting. After that district court ruling, the Trump side appealed part of it, and the plaintiffs appealed the other part of it, and so it was a real question.
So you know what this means? If this is brought before the Supreme Court, this might get dropped. I personally, in my opinion, I think Trump will be back on the Colorado ballot, and of course, Maddow will come back on and be like, "Oh, this is so sad for democracy. Now we have Trump back on the Colorado." Seriously, you know what? I mean, a part of me. I'm hold on. I got to be real with all of you. Look, on election night, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cook myself a nice ribeye steak. Okay, I know I've said this before. Hear me out. I'm going to cook a nice ribeye steak. Going to make a nice meal. I think I'll do a live stream coverage of that election night. You know, and here's the only thing I'm looking forward to. All right, now this is my tall order. So to any Trump supporters that are going to do like liberal or left leaning meltdowns, if you're going to add me in the collage, just be sure to put me in the special section. I know. Special section, go banana. I'll be rooting for the third parties. I want to see the Greens, the Libertarians, and yes, to extent Cornel West and RFK Jr. I want to see what they're going to do. I want to see how well they will succeed, how many votes they will get. I will be sad if the third parties don't make any kind of ground. So you'll be able to put me in that, but not because of Biden losing. I want to be clear on this, but because the third parties didn't gain as much momentum as I thought. So, and I'm preparing myself for that disappointment. Or use it. I'll be happy. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe it'll be the happy dance. But nonetheless, a part of me is kind of looking forward to seeing if Trump would beat Biden. And I say this because I just want to see some liberals cry again. I want to see them panic again. There was something about that in 2016 that, you know what, I should have treasured more. It was just sweet to watch, just people crying. Because I remember in 2016, after being in Philadelphia, telling people, hey, there's a 50-50 chance Donald Trump can actually beat Hillary Clinton. And everyone's like, no, how dare you? How dare you? There's a 50-50 chance he could pull it off. And there's a very good chance he could win re-election again. And so I want to see people cry. Yeah, that's me being petty. That's not a real proper analysis. That's just me being petty, being very petty. I want to see people cry again.
As to what the Colorado Supreme Court was going to do here. But I mean, let's keep in mind the scale of this. So this is about Colorado only. You said it will likely be appealed to the Supreme Court. It will certainly be appealed to the United States Supreme Court. And then their ruling, depending on what they rule, they could just swat this down and make this go away. But
yeah. All right. So enough of Rachel. Here was a response by some conservatives as well. I think it's only fair that we hear their perspective. So let's go ahead and hear this.
Well, this court just handed partisans on both sides the ultimate tool to try to shortcut elections. And it's very, very dangerous. I mean, this country is a powder keg, and this court is just throwing matches at it. And I think that it's a real mistake, but I think that they're wrong on the law. You know, January 6th was many things, most of it not good. In my view, it was not an insurrection. It was a riot. That doesn't mean that the people responsible for that day shouldn't be held accountable. But to call this an insurrection for the purposes of disqualification would create a slippery slope for every state in the union. This is a time when we actually need democracy. We need to allow the voters to vote. We need to hear their decision. And the court here just said, you're not going to get that. In Colorado, we're not going to let you vote for Donald Trump.
No.
And, you know, you could dislike Trump. You could believe he's responsible for January 6th, but this isn't the way to do it. I mean, it is, you know, for people that say they're trying to protect democracy, this is hands down the most anti-democratic opinion I've seen in my lifetime.
And I wanted to play that in its full entirety and not interrupt it because that is very true. This is hands down concerning because I've seen this play out for third-party candidates. Now, Greens, Libertarians, and Independents rarely get press coverage. If the Cornel West, RFK Jr., Jill Stein, yes, even the Libertarian Party, once they pick their nominee, are paying any attention to this, they need to redouble and triple their efforts, because you know for a fact corporate media is going to be weighing on the whole, oh no, Trump's going to beat Biden, and they're going to do everything they can, as well as the establishment will do everything it can to remove third parties and independents from the ballot too. Just throwing it out here. So I saw something interesting here with Vivek. I don't know what his overall game is. Maybe he's trying to position himself as VP, possibly, maybe, who knows. But he decided to stand in solidarity with Trump by saying this.
They have just tried to bar President Trump from the Colorado ballot using an unconstitutional maneuver that is a bastardization of the 14th Amendment to our U.S. Constitution. This was a provision, Section 3, that was designed to bar Confederate members, people who switched to the Confederacy, from actually being able to serve. That's very different than what's at issue here, to say the least. This is a hollowed out husk of what the country was built on. The basic principle that we, the people, select our leadership, not the unelected elite class in the back of palace halls. That's old world Europe, not the United States. That's why I'm making a pledge today that I will withdraw. I pledge to withdraw from the Colorado GOP primary ballot unless and until Trump's name is restored. And I demand that Ron DeSantis and Chris Christie and Nikki Haley do the same thing, or else these Republicans are simply complicit in this unconstitutional attack on the way we conduct our constitutional republic. I refuse to be complicit in that. I think what they're doing is wrong. And I think it's up to Republicans to step up and stand up with a spine for our country's future. That's really what's at stake, whether we, the people, actually have a say in deciding who leads this country. Yes, it would be easier for other Republicans like me who are running in this race to say, hey, if Trump is sidelined, there's our opportunity. No doubt other candidates are probably privately celebrating with their corporate sponsors. That's not the right thing to do.
Whether you like him or not, he is correct in his overall statement. Now, maybe this is also a way to gain favor with Trump. Vivek did have I guess in my opinion, a very successful primary debate in the fourth one. But overall, the danger to democracy is very real. And now, hold on. Let's hear from another side of the political spectrum. Give it up, everybody. For Fat Tony, I mean Cenk Uygur. While people are outraged that Trump has been taken off the ballot in Colorado, at the same time, the Democratic Party has taken all of Biden's opponents off the ballot in Florida, Tennessee, North Carolina primaries. Democracy is on the line in a lot of ways in this election. Well, Cenk, listen, a lot of people have been saying democracy's been dead for quite a while, but, okay. Yeah, and yet you're running in the Democratic Party. Did you not pay attention in 2016 and 2020? But of course, hey, with wise words like this, you can never go wrong. Give it up for Kamala. Kamala, what do you got to say?
Every election cycle, we talk about this is the most election of our lifetime.
The most election? I think she said most important. Hold on. Maybe I misheard that.
Every election cycle, we talk about this is the most election of our lifetime.
So she said most election. If I didn't hear important, then that means I'm going deaf. But I'm pretty sure all of you heard most too.
Lawrence, this one is. We are literally talking about people who are attempting to divide our country in the most crude, frankly, and profound way. We are talking about those who are intent and purposeful to attack fundamental freedoms, be it the freedom to make a decision about your own body, the freedom to love who you love openly and with pride, the freedom to be free from fear of violence and hate, the freedom.
Everyone, I don't know what the hell she's saying.
To just be.
The freedom to just be. All right, look, listen. We've done this exercise before, but listen. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Shh. Imagine you're a ghost right now, and you see a house, right? And in that house is a vote blue no matter who person. Now, you're just a specter. You're just there watching in there. And let's just imagine that this liberal, this latte-drinking liberal is watching BSDNC, told to be afraid of Trump. They have Trump derangement syndrome because they're so afraid of Trump, because they believe that Trump's somehow going to hurt them. Now imagine, it's raining outside. Thunder is a roaring, lightning bolts everywhere. The door falls down. There's Donald Trump with an axe. The latte drinking liberal screams and frails and runs out the house in the field as Trump starts chasing him in the field. That's what a lot of these liberals feel about Donald Trump. They're so scared of him. They're so frightened of him. Guess what? Elections come and go, and then it's over. I want to play this one final video here because it speaks the truth. All what this did is strengthen Trump.
And for more on the political impact, we're joined now by pollster and communication strategist Frank Luntz, who has been getting the pulse of Trump voters for years. So the obvious first question, Frank, what do you think the impact of this ruling will be on their support for him?
It's going to be exactly what the indictments did. It's going to be exactly what the criticisms have done. Donald Trump thrives on negativity. He thrives on legal systems that try to hold him accountable. And I'm convinced that his polling numbers are going to go up. Just today, the New York Times published 6 key swing states and had Donald Trump up beyond the margin of error in 5 out of the 6. The polling earlier a month ago was significant. Trump is gaining. The more that he is prosecuted, the more that he is condemned, the higher his numbers go as people rally around him. And I would say to the judges, as I said to the Justice Department, you're actually making it more likely that Donald Trump is elected next November by how you are pursuing this. You don't explain the decisions. You don't put things in context. And so Trump climbs and climbs and climbs. And right now, he's beating Joe Biden clearly nationwide.
Well, for the judges would say, look, we're just going by the law without fear of favor. And I mean, but does the context even matter to Trump supporters? Because there have been, tonight's ruling was really lengthy, explaining point by point why they believe he incited the insurrection, why the 14th Amendment.
None of that matters, CNN. None of it's going to matter. Trump is going to gain momentum. Now, CNN wants to live in its own reality. MSNBC wants to live in its own reality. Democrats want to live in their own reality. The Biden administration wants to live in its own reality. Vote blue no matter who. They live in their own reality. So the truth is, Trump will probably be back on the Colorado ballot. But this sets a dangerous precedent for future elections in which, I don't know, will there be any elections in the future? I'll let you decide on that one. But this is a danger. And when you have people let their emotions get the better of them, that's when things fall apart. Well done, Vote Blue, no matter who. You hit another home run homer, and it did nothing. So enjoy your mimosas. I'll be drinking your tears when Trump is back on the Colorado ballot. And I can't wait for election night to eat a delicious ribeye steak. Magnifique.